Hello everyone and welcome to Life Begins at 20. My name is Mark and today I'll be bringing you my top 10 cards from Kaladesh for Cube. These will be split into top 5 commons and uncommons and top 5 rares and mythics, as there were just too many cards in each rarity which I think are going to make a big impact on the format. Before we start, I'd just like to get these out of the way with. Yes, the Inventions are amazing cards and would fit straight into any cube, unless of course you have some of them already, but the likelihood of pulling a specific invention during the set is extremely low, so I haven't included them in the list. Needless to say, I'd love some, but it probably isn't going to happen. The completion of the fast lands would have been in my top 5, but I felt they were also included in my cube, so I've taken them out of the equation. I'm very pleased to see these printed, as they'll add a degree of flexibility to the people playing with a more aggressive strategy. First up, we have my number 5 pick from the commons and uncommons, which is Aadhaar. This is a great land for aggressive decks. Not only can it help with mana fixing, but you can use the energy it provides with another card from the set which utilises it instead. With the added benefit that if any other card generates extra energy for you, it can help you carry on mana fixing for as long as you need it. This is especially useful if you're trying to splash for an extra colour. At number 5 in the rares and mythics, we have Angel of Invention. This card sums up how many good cards there are in the set, and there are others very close to making it in. But how could I say no to this? A 2-1 flying vigilance lifelink creature with Fabricate 2 for 5. Even if it was used on itself, rather than making 2/1/1 servos, making a 4-3 flying vigilance lifelink creature for 5, I'd pay that happily. Oh, I forgot to mention that it has an anthem giving all other creatures you control +1/+1. Huge upside there on an already good value card. So those servos would be 2/2s, and in a white tokens deck, that's a really strong card. At number 4 in both lists, I've picked Vehicles. With Vehicles being a brand new card type in Kaladesh, it's fairly unknown how well they'll do in the long run. From what I've read from people's experiences during pre-release and watching loading ready runs pre-release, I can see a home for them in Cube, especially the following in common and uncommon. Skiff is a flying 2/3 for 2, requiring only 1 power creature to use it. I'm very surprised this is a common. This is a very strong turn 2 play if you had a creature on turn 1, which can attack straight away due to no summoning sickness being an artifact. It's a really good card. Next up we have the Oval Chase Dragster. Many of you have seen similar cards to this over the course of Magic, even with the last set with Impetuous Devils, but with the upside it doesn't have to be blocked and doesn't get removed if it attacks. Last but not least, the Hype Train, the Aadhaar Express. This card could certainly win you games if you can crew this 5 cost 8/6 menace with 4 powers worth of creatures. I feel this is a very strong card, and if you can play it on turn 5 with 4 powers worth of creature able to crew it, you'll certainly take control of the game. Staying with the number 4 slot, we have the rare and mythic Vehicles. Smuggler's Copter is a flying 3/3 for 2 and requires a creature with 1 power to crew it in order to attack. Anyone else thinking tokens? Whenever it attacks or blocks, you get to draw a card and discard one. This is a really nice madness enabler on top, but the card draw will be very useful. The mythic vehicle for the set is Sky Sovereign, console flagship. What more do I need to say other than the flying 6/6 for 5 requiring 3 power to crew? Again, this could be 3/1/1 tokens. With a free lightning bolt that damages creatures or planeswalker when it comes in, and each time it attacks. Not sure anything else needs to be said really. Last but not least, Fleetwheel Cruiser. This 5/3 vehicle with trample and haste for 4 has the added benefit of coming onto the battlefield as a creature and instantly swinging in for damage, and with only 2 power needed to crew the vehicle, it's a very strong card. At number 3 in the common and uncommon slot, we have the Aerial Responder. This is just a solid all-round card in white. I'd happily pay 3 for a 2/3 flyer, but to add vigilance and lifelink on top, that makes this card great value. My third choice in the rare and mythic slot has to be Dovin Baan. As powerful as the other 2 planeswalkers are, and I'm sure they'll find a home in my cube if I open them, this guy is just a bit stronger. He's able to defend himself well with his +1 ability. His -1 of gaining 2 life and drawing a card is more than enough to help you win the game, and if that wasn't enough, his ultimate will win you the game more often than not, and your opponent sitting on the other side of you won't be too pleased if it comes off. Voltaic Brawler is my number 2 uncommon in the set. This card is incredibly strong. For a single red and a green, you get a 3/2 that enters the battlefield with 2 energy counters. If that wasn't enough, whenever it attacks, you can pay 1 energy to give it +1/+1 and trample until the end of the turn. Amazing aggressive card for such a low cost. At number 2 in the rare and mythics, we have the Gearhulk cycle. These are all great cards in their own right, and I couldn't pick one fairly, so I've put them all as my second pick. Cataclysmic Gearhulk is very strong, being a 4/5 for 5 with Vigilance. If that wasn't enough, having a board wipe to bring the game back to a level playing field for you can be well worth it in the right situations, especially when you get to watch their face as you do it. Torrential Gearhulk is a strong 5/6 with flash for 6, with the ability of when it comes into play, you can cast an instant from your graveyard for free. Depending on the card in your graveyard determines the power on the game this has, but knowing blue, I'm sure there are things in there that other players wouldn't want to see again. Noxious Gearhulk is a 5/4 menace for 6, which is fairly strong. The 4 toughness is the only potential weakness, but when it has murder built into it when it comes into play, where you gain life equal to the killed creature's toughness, that more than makes up for it. Combustible Gearhulk is a good 6/6 first striking body for 6. The coming into play ability can be a little hit or miss depending on what the opponent chooses. Drawing 3 cards would be perfect, but that may not happen all that often. At worst, it'll deal X damage to the player, where X is the mana cost of all 3 cards. Last but not least, we have the Verdurous Gearhulk. This 4/4 trample creature for 5 is pretty decent, but with the ability to come in and distribute 4 +1/+1 counters around technically means you're getting 8 powers worth of creature with trample on the battlefield. With the +1/+1 counters being an archetype in many people's cubes, this is very strong indeed. For my number 1 common and uncommon in the set, I've chosen Filigree Familiar. Not only is this card cute, which I can assure you isn't entirely the reason why I chose it, it's a very good card for 3 mana, giving you 2 life, a 2/2 body, and when it leaves the battlefield, a card draw. Emerge decks certainly have the added benefit with this card, and I can certainly see it making a splash in Standard, but I can't see any disadvantage having this in my cube for all manner of strategies. And for the number 1 rare and mythic in the set, which I'm sure you'll all be able to guess, is Chandra. Most people have come to the conclusion that this is probably the best realistic card to pull from the set. Chandra is an amazing planeswalker, with both of her +1 abilities being very strong and allowing her to get an early advantage with either ramp or extra card draw if you choose to play it. If not, she does 2 damage to the opponent. These would make her a direct threat straight away. Her -3 deals 4 damage to a creature which is fairly strong, but her ultimate will win you the game in a matter of turns. There we have it. Those are my top 5 commons and uncommons and top 5 rares and mythics of the set for Cube. Granted, even in a limited environment, I doubt these positions would change too much. Please let me know what your top cards are in the comments section down below. I'd love to see which cards you think will make a big impact in Kaladesh. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up as it really helps, and if you want to see more content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified when they are uploaded. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.